So I'm coming to you today from what I am calling the Internet Loser's Attic. It kind of looks like the Internet Loser's basement, but this one is in an attic. And hopefully I'm not too much of an Internet loser. I recorded an episode a couple of days ago, and I'm just going to kind of redo it from memory. And apologies if my eyes and my head drift off. My current setup is not exactly friendly towards my way of thinking about things. So my tendency to turn my head up and to a certain side, it looks weird on camera. So apologies in advance on that. Um, but I wanted to talk today about my buddy Kevin Bacon, the dog, not the actor. I get a lot of questions. He made his first public appearance a couple of nights ago. Took him to a baseball game, and a lot of people were like, "What's his name?" Because he's still only 5 months old, and everybody asked, why did you name him Kevin? And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Everybody, first off, loves the name Kevin, and that's kind of the point. I was talking with someone who has a lot of anxiety about animals, and we were kind of comparing anxieties, talking about like what it feels like and how it makes you feel in the moment, like you're not able to focus, you're not able to process anything. And I thought maybe the naming of a lot of dogs could have that effect, right? People name there's a dog around here named Storm, and I've heard of a dog named, like, my old dog was Moose. So there's some rough edges there for sure. And so I said, well, what if we gave it a human name, and we agreed. And then it was like, well, what about a good human name? I mean, there's some human names that are a little tougher than others. And we came up with a short list, and Kevin was there, and I really liked it, like right off the bat. I was just like, that's kind of my favorite. And then we had another conversation about, well, if we're going to name a dog Kevin, then by all means we got to give him a last name, right? I mean, using our last name, he should have his own identity, right? This identity thing is part of a bigger thing I'm going to talk about in just a second. But um, so he should have his own identity, as a dog. So Kevin Bacon's his name. And everybody loves it. And he's a dog, so it's Bacon, of course. Um, and so I just mentioned identity. And this would be one of those times where I can tell you, if I could see my own eyes, it would be really bad. Um, it gets dark fast. It's getting a little dark now, and I'm not even looking at my eyes. So, just imagine it's not easy. Um, but as a kid, I don't know that I ever had an identity. Um, that's the first time I've said it out loud. And the reason is because I was always my dad's son. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's something in my brain that made it feel like it was equating the two of us as the same person. And that didn't ever register well with me, not even as a kid. Um, my name that I go by is made up of initials. And those initials were my Gaga's idea. My father wanted me named after him. That was the tradition back in the '60s. And you know what? Maybe this story is what jacked me up a little bit. But my mother really did not want me named Junior, and to this day, I thank her immensely for that. Um, I have cousins and other relatives who, in the context of the family, never escape their father's identities. And I think that's really what it is with me. I needed to escape his identity, and I don't know why. Um, so we were talking about anxiety, me and, you know, someone. And I told them what I'm about to tell you. Until I was about 13 years old, I carried around a Winnie the Pooh doll when I was at home. And you might think 13's a little old for something like that, and you wouldn't be wrong. Um, at 55, I find myself asking what hurt me so bad that I needed that doll. I still have it. It's somewhere. I don't think about it as much as I used to, but I needed it. So there's probably going to be a weird cut there. Sorry about that. As a kid, I never could escape that family identity, and it bothers me. And I don't think it bothers me just because I want to be my own independent person. I think it goes a little beyond that. And I don't know where that leads. One of the other things I hear a lot from people is that they appreciate me being raw. And um, thanks. I have to be. Um, a colleague at work shared something a couple of days ago, and it really made a lot of sense for me. Everything the guy was saying and talking about made tons and tons of sense. And I'll put a link to it in the description. He's a combat soldier, so his experience with grief and anxiety and everything is different than mine, but he used the word stuck in his TED talk that he gave. The performative aspect was kind of hard for me to watch, but I got the message. I understood what he was saying, and he's right. You get stuck, and you have to figure out how to get unstuck. And for me, getting unstuck is about being as raw and as real as I can. I don't. I'm not doing this for followers. If nobody ever saw this, it wouldn't matter. This is just me kind of screaming into the void. So that's what it is. So I'm sorry if this is going to be a little jumpy right here, because I came up with about 3 or 4 different things I wanted to talk about and kept losing the thread, so I'm going to edit some stuff out. But as always, thanks for listening, and thanks for encouraging me. It does. One person says something, it means the world. Take care.